So welcome back. We're going to work with combining like terms. Combining like terms is also going to be what we refer to as simplifying. So we're just trying to put it in a simpler form. So again, we call them terms because remember we said there's three terms here. There's a 12-hour, a -8, and a -12. So when I think of terms, think of it as addition. So I have a 12-hour, a -8, and a -12. What you want to do is combine like pieces. Well, the 12-hour really represents 12 hours added together. A -8 is like 8 -1s. A -12 is like 12 -1s. So these really are your friendlies. Numbers go with numbers. So these guys go together. So you have 12-hour and a -20. Or we write that as 12-hour minus 20. A lot of times they won't put the plus and the negative. They'll write that as 12-hour and a -20. They'll write it as a subtraction problem. And that's what we mean by simplifying because this can't go any further. So I have -4x minus 10x. Don't forget also we can look at this as -4x and a -10x. Also, another way to look at this is -4x could mean 4 negative x's. -10x could mean 10 negative x's. And remember, multiplication represents repeated addition. So this actually means -x plus -x plus -x plus -x. 4 negative x's added together plus 10 more negative x's. -x plus -x plus -x plus -x plus -x. So there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus another -x, plus another -x, plus another -x, plus -x, plus another -x. So that's what this actually means. So we recognize this is really just repeated addition. How many negative x's do we have added together? It looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There's 14 negative x's there. So 14 negative x's can be written like that. Or we can write that as -14x. So that's kind of the middle picture I create. When I see a -4x, I'm actually seeing 4 negative x's and I'm seeing 10 negative x's, which makes a total of 14 negative x's, which we write as -14x. Another thing we can look at is these are also called like terms because they both have letters in them. When they have the same letter, what we can do is we can combine what we call the coefficients. The coefficients are the numbers in front of the letters. So like when I have a 12x, that 12 is actually what we call the coefficient. When I have a -m, don't forget that there was actually a 1 there. So -m actually means a -1m. So you don't see a number in front of a letter, it's understood to be a 1 because 1 is that identity element. It kind of absorbs into the letter itself. So you have like terms. Some people just simply say combine the coefficients. So when you see this, what you can do is simply go -4 add -10. That gives you -14, and then just bring the x into the problem, and you get your -14x that way. So that's another way to look at it. So when I look at this problem right here, -2x plus 11 plus 6x, what we see is this term and this term are like terms. So what I have is 2 negative x's and 6 positive x's. So if we look at that as a -x and a -x, and we have 6 positive x's, x plus x plus x plus x plus x plus x plus x, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 x's, and then we have that 11 out there by itself. One of the things we talked about is a -x and a positive x are a zero pair, so they actually zero out. A -x and a positive x actually zero out. And you end up with then 1, 2, 3, 4 x's, which would write as 4x plus 11. So I write that as 4x plus 11. And that is as far as it goes because 4x and 11 are not like terms. So we leave that like it is. Notice again how we could just combine the coefficients. A 6 and a -2, again, the coefficient is the number in front of the letter. So when I combine the coefficients, a 6 and a -2 would give me a 4, and bring that x down along with it. So 4x plus 11 is the way to do that. So if you look at this problem here, I have four terms. I have this term, I have this term, I have this term, and I have this term. So I have an n. Negative 5n means 5 negative n's. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 negative n's. But we do know that an n and a negative n will kind of zero out. That leaves you 1, 2, 3, 4 negative n's, which we write as negative 4n. We have a 4 and a negative 9. A 4 and a negative 9 would actually give me a negative 5. So negative 4n and negative 5, or negative 4n minus 5 would be your answer. Notice how, again, you could look at this as a coefficient of 1. A negative 5 and a 1, a negative 5 and a 1 would give me a negative 4, a negative 4n, and there's still that 4 and a negative 9 would still give me that negative 5. And that's what we mean by combining like terms. So the n's go with the n's, and the numbers go with numbers. Sometimes it's not a bad idea to circle these, and you could maybe box these or use different colors to kind of help you see what the like terms are. So there's a little push into combining like terms. So again, all we're doing is simplifying, but notice how we can't take that any further. So watch out for that. Stay tuned.